Hi there, friends. I'm Mary Nabe. Welcome to my Stampin' Piece studio in Columbus, Ohio. First of all, happy last week of summer. It's already feeling like fall here in central Ohio, which I love. Warm days, cool nights, just awesome weather. No air conditioning, no heat. I love it, love it. But I know some of you are sad to say goodbye to summer. Also, who knew? Today is National Greeting Card Writers Day. Who knew there was such a thing? So all of you that are making and sending your handmade greeting cards, this day is for you and I. And I should say hug, it's National Hug a Greeting Card Writer Day. So you get the hug from me right now and give yourself a hug for choosing to make a difference in this crazy world by sending your handmade cards and bringing joy to other people. My last Facebook Live was kind of a 6x6 one-sheet wonder to make 2 cards. And in addition to that, I showed people how to use the box/bag die from the Tricks and Treats bundle to make a small gift bag with a window in it. So this is what that looks like. And the one that I showed you that I had filled is ready to mail off to my friend who's been helping me out. So that'll go in tomorrow's mail. And then in addition, we made 2 cards. And these 2 cards feature the All About Autumn Designer Series paper. Although I chose to use the metallic pattern side of the DSP. And I also featured the beautiful rose gold foil sheets, foil paper. And the people who won those cards, their name was posted under the Facebook Live post, and those cards are in the mail and on their way. Or I guess they're going out tomorrow. They're going out in tomorrow's mail. Okay, today I'm going to be making a fun fold with you. We're going to use the same fun fold for all 3 cards, but all 3 cards are different, okay? And I'm featuring the Cheers to the Season stamp set. So I think you're going to like what I have prepared. So I'm going to flip my camera around to my workspace so we can get started. And while I'm doing that, please share this live or tag your friends and invite other people to join us this afternoon for the fun. Oops. Not sure what's going on with Facebook. Let me go back to my other screen on the computer because let me know if you can see me and hear me, because my one screen here is not cooperating. So just let me know if you can see me and hear me. Oh, good. You can. Okay. Because I'm not seeing anything on my screen. So I'm just going to go right ahead and demonstrate. So as I said, we're using the Cheers to the Season stamp set. I love it. Covers Thanksgiving. But you could also just use this for a general thank you card as well. Then we've got a holiday stamp and then this Cheers, which I can think of lots of reasons to use the Cheers stamp set. New Year's Eve or New Year cards, congratulations, wedding, anniversary, bridal showers, a promotion, retirement, all kinds of things, graduations. All right. So I'm going to give you an idea for using each one of those stamps today. And to do that, we're going to make a fun fold card. I'm going to go ahead and show you first how to cut your card base, because this is quite different. I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 by 11.5 inches. So really, I just cut off that strip of the 8.5 by 11 designer series paper. Okay. The hard thing with not being able to see on the computer screen is I'm not sure I'm within the viewing screen. So every once in a while I have to look up at my phone. So if I'm pausing, feel like I'm pausing, that's the reason. So 5.5 by 11. And I'm going to score, let me move my cutting blade out of the way. I want to score at 3.5 inches on each end. 3.5 inches on each end. And you know what? Just to make, well, I was going to say maybe I'll do all three at once, but I won't, because sometimes people jump on late, and this way they'll get to see, if they missed preparing this card base, they'll get to see one or both of the others. So now on each end, and I find this the easiest way to do it, just slip your card base under the ruler edge, and at 2 3/4 inch, just make a little mark there, little pencil mark, okay, right there and there. Now I'm going to cut some angles. I want to go from that dot, that 2 3/4 inch mark on each end, to the bottom of the score line and cut away a triangle. I'm going to turn it and do the same thing from the dot, pencil mark at 2 3/4 inches to the bottom of the score line. And then I'll flip to the other side and do the same thing. So here's my dot. And one more. And what I'm doing is just putting that dot and the bottom of the score line right into my cutting groove. And I'll save those pieces for something later. And let's move on and complete our card. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, and for the first two cards, I'm actually using very vanilla cardstock instead of my usual white, okay? But I think vanilla can be very pretty for fall cards and for holiday cards, depending on your color scheme. And I'm going to be stamping first the So Thankful leaf with Cajun Craze ink. Now this, with these stamp sets, or I should say this stamp set, you can see there's a lot of detail in here, and there's already shading on the stamp set. So when you are inking up your stamp, you know, you want to do a tap, 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 but don't press so hard, because if you do, it'll pick up all that ink, and the ink will go into all those teeny tiny little crevices, and then you don't get quite the same effect. Okay, you wouldn't see all those little shades. And then just press and hold, and there you go. And look at how nicely the script still shows through that. Then, and you know what, while I'm at it, we're going to stamp envelopes today. I'm going to go ahead and stamp a leaf right here. I should put a piece of scrap underneath, because I'll probably go off the corner a little bit. I don't know why, but to me it's always a little more appealing when it goes off the edge. And I'll set that aside to dry. Okay, next I'm going to stamp some dots. Oh, I do need that scrap again, darn it. What was I thinking? I'm going to stamp these dots randomly around the leaf, but before I stamp, I'm going to stamp off and then stamp onto my cardstock. And you can do it as many or a few times as you want. I think it's kind of neat to go off the page a little bit. You can turn your stamp different directions if you want. A little on the side here. Whoops. There. I think that looks pretty good to me. Just do it until, really until it is appealing to you, I'll say. So now let's assemble this card. So we have this card base. I'm going to fold each of the triangle sides in, and they will overlap, and that's okay. For the inside, this piece measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 inches. So it's a little bit narrower card. Typically our A2 size cards are 5 1/4 by 4. This one, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 inches. This one is going to be 5 1/2 by 4, so it's a little narrower. So this piece measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 inches. And again, for this, I'm using Very Vanilla as my neutral. Now this piece of Very Vanilla measures 2 3/4 inch by 4 inches. And I'm mounting this onto Early Espresso cardstock that measures 3 inches by 4 1/4. Now, when we're putting this on the front, go ahead and close the right flap and then close the left flap. And then I want you to simply place the layered pieces on top, okay? And kind of picture it so that it looks even around. So now we have to mount this. So what we want to do is mount it so it's just on that part of the left triangle flap. So I find that using my multi-purpose glue for this part, and it also may be helpful to do this because then you know the width. So you know you don't want to take your glue pretty much beyond this point here. So we can get close to that, but we don't want to go over it. And just kind of hold this in place. And what's going to happen is the right edge of my layers is going to match right up to the point of this triangle flap. So if you've got it there like that, and you're centering it top to bottom, it should be perfectly in place. Okay, so here's what it looks like when I open it. All right, you can see the right edge of the layers matches right up to that dot. Okay. Oh, Mary Ellen, you're watching from Reynoldsburg. Not too far from me. Awesome. All right, let's finish this off with some embellishing. And okay, look what I found. If any of you have been around with Stampin' Up! For a long time, this is how our linen thread used to come. Now it comes on a nice little bolt rolled up, which I like so much better. But I found this as I was cleaning things out, and I thought, well, I have to use it up. So that's what I'm doing. So that's why it looks like that. And it even has the green labels. We don't even use those green labeling anymore. And the logo's a little bit different. There was some rebranding. So this is kind of like when I say pulling from the archives, it almost really is pulling from the archives with that. So I've just made a double bow with my linen thread. And I'm going to adhere that to the stem of my leaf. And when I adhere tiny bows, I like to just use a dot of the multi-purpose glue, and then I lay the knot of my bow right on top of the glue, and then I just put a clear block on it. Give it a minute to dry. Doesn't take long at all. You could also use a glue dot, mini glue dot, and roll it up between your fingers and put that on the back. For larger bows, I do adhere them with glue dots, but for linen thread and baker's twine, I usually do it this way. So let's add some of these rustic metallic dots. I felt like this was a good choice for a fall themed card. And I'm just going to add 3 around the leaf. And it's probably good. Has a little drying time, but at least it's going to hold it in place now. And then 1 there. And that completes my fun fold card using the So Thankful stamp. So I'll send that out probably in, oh, this one, I'll send my sample out because one of you will win this. But my sample, I'll probably use that as my Thanksgiving cards for my family. All right, next, we're going to make a Christmas card. I'm using cherry cobbler for my base, and I've already pre-cut this to be 5.5 by 11 inches, 5.5 by 11, and I'm going to score at 3 inches on each side. I'm sorry, 3.5. 3.5. Okay, scoring 3.5 inches from both ends. Then I'm just going to slide this under the ruler edge, and I'm going to mark, put a pencil mark at 2 3/4 inch. I'm going to flip to the other side and do the very same thing, a mark at the 2 3/4 inch. Then I'm going to cut out those corners. So I'm going from my pencil mark to the bottom of the score, the score line. Need to use the right tool there. Same thing here, and that pencil mark and the bottom of the score line, those just go right above the cutting groove. So as long as you have them in the cutting groove, those marks in the cutting groove, it'll turn out perfectly. Okay, I'm going to fold both of the triangle flaps. And let me get all my pieces here. I'm going to put Very Vanilla cardstock on the inside. This measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 inches. 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 inches. Then I need to stamp, and I'm actually this time going to stamp twice. The first time I'm going to stamp with Mossy Meadow. So let me move this. So I'm stamping the whole thing, okay, the 3 ornaments with the background. I'm stamping this in Mossy Meadow first. Just about the middle. This piece of cardstock is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. Now I do want to clean off my stamp. That looks good, because now I'm going to be stamping on another piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. In Cherry Cobbler. Okay, I'm going to give that a moment to dry, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my envelope. And this one I'll stamp in Cherry Cobbler as well, just like that. Once again, thank you to Jenny Graber for listing all of the supplies for you. I appreciate her help. She just started doing that voluntarily, and she's awesome at it. And now, before my Facebook Lives, she emails me, "What are you using today?" So it's a great reminder for me too to get her that information. So thank you, Jenny. Now on the Cherry Cobbler ornaments, I just want to cut those out. And I'm just cutting around the outline of them. It's pretty easy. No, it's not really, I can call it fussy cutting because I'm using paper snips, but it's not really fussy. It's real easy and simple to cut these. If you like what you see here and you have a crafty friend or relative that you think might be interested, go ahead and tag them in the comments. And feel free to share as well. That way they're getting an invitation right from you, from somebody they know, to jump on and see my demonstration. And we have one more to cut. Did anybody get this stamp set? Cheers to the season. Yes, cheers to the season. Anybody get it? I will be using this again for Thursday's Facebook Live, but in a completely different way. So I hope you'll join me then. That's Thursday, 2 p.m. right here on Stampin' Piece with Mary Nabe. And again, invite your friends to join you. The more the merrier. That's the best part of this craft. It's so easy to share and easy for others to learn also. So I'm going to add my stamped, Mossy Meadow stamped cardstock to Mossy Meadow as the background. So 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and then the background is 3 inches by 4 1/4. Now I'm going to use some dimensionals. Let me grab those. Brand new sheets. And I'm just laying the Cherry Cobbler ornaments directly on top of the Mossy Meadow ornaments. So it just gives it a nice little bit of dimension, plus using 2 colors, Cherry Cobbler and Mossy Meadow, which to me, Cherry Cobbler, Mossy Meadow, very vanilla. This is to me a very classic Christmas color combination. The colors are rich and vibrant and beautiful. They also work well with white, but I think they work especially well with the vanilla cardstock. All right, so now we're ready to, let me put my ink pads away. We're ready to finish off this card. Remember, you want to close both flaps, the right and then the left. And I'll put my glue, I'm going to lay this here so I know not to take my glue beyond that line. And using the liquid glue gives you time to scoot the layers around a little bit if you need to get them centered and straight. Remember, the edge, right edge of the layers should match up with the point of that left flap. Let's see, that's pretty good. And let's go ahead and embellish now. Okay, now I have to tell you about the embellishing. Let me show you these first. So these are the festive pearls. We had them last year and they carried over. So that's a good thing. They're in the annual catalog, and you've got a red, a green, a silver, and a gold. And I'm going to use the gold ones this time. They're all the same size, but they're all just so pretty. Shiny and truly festive colors, right? So those are the festive pearls that I've chosen to use for this card. But let me show you some other embellishments that would also be great for this card and this color scheme. So these are the blooming pearls. The blooming pearls. I believe these are in the mini catalog. But I wanted you to see the difference here. You've got the 4 colors, but the gold here is just a little bit brighter. It might be hard for you to see there, but it's just a little bit brighter than the festive pearls. And then they also have these larger pearls, which do stand up a bit, but they would still go through the mail. Just put a piece of, when you put your card in the envelope, just cover it up with a piece of scrap paper or scrap cardstock. You can even use something like this, those triangles we cut off. And then the other embellishment I thought would work really well with this color combination is the gold sequins. This is the pastel adhesive sequins. And I think this gold would be very pretty. And this is more of a matte brushed gold. Okay, so there's some different choices for you in terms of embellishing when you want to use gold embellishments, especially for holiday cards like this one. All right, that's card number 2. Now let's go to card number 3. And as you can see, on all 3 cards, I'm using the same lost my train of thought. I'm using the same fun fold layout, same measurements, and 1 stamp set. So think of that when you are making cards, especially if you have a stamp set that covers a lot of different occasions or is very versatile. You can make the same card over and over again with different sentiments and images and colors, but leave the layout the same. Leave the dimensions the same if you can. Oops, I have to mark my ends, right? Who remembers what we're marking? 2 3/4 inch. So again, just tuck the end of that card base underneath the ruler and mark 2 3/4. And now we will cut away the corners by putting the pencil mark and the end of the scoring line in the cutting groove, or on top of that cutting groove. This color is Blackberry Bliss. Another really, really rich color. And while on the other two cards, I used vanilla as my neutral, on this card, I'm using white as my neutral. So again, whoops, this looks a little big. It is, but I cut it to 5 1/4 by 4 inches, which is the norm, the usual. But for this card, I need it 3 3/4 inches wide. Okay. And I'm going to stamp this wine glass or celebration glass with Blackberry Bliss ink. Notice I'm tapping. I'm not pushing. Just a tap, tap, tap. Okay. And stamp it right in the middle. Somebody said, I didn't realize we could use our trimmer as a ruler like that. Yes, Julie, isn't that awesome? Isn't that a great feature of our paper trimmer? So there's my wine glass, stamped on basic white, 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. Oh, and I don't have another cartridge with me, so I'm going to finish off with this. Otherwise, I have to get up and walk across the studio. But we're almost finished here. I usually have 2 sitting right here. Well, I always have 2 sitting right there. But I guess I've been using up that adhesive fast. I've been working hard, super productive, planning new classes and Facebook Lives. I want to pick this up because it's not quite centered to me. It's a little bit too low. When you're centering, I'm sure I've shared this at some time, but it might have been a while. When I'm trying to center a piece on a layer, what I like to do is look at the side, look at the 2 corners. And if I have the same amount of cardstock or mat or whatever you want to call it showing on both sides of that corner, and I lay down my piece, then it will be centered nicely. Okay. And once again, I'm going to just lay this here so I know or remind myself not to go beyond that edge with my multi-purpose glue. I should say I learned this fun fold from my friend Jackie Bolheis. Okay, and I have the edge of my Lost Lagoon cardstock, my layers, right up against the corner or that point of the left flap. So this doesn't want to lay down all the way, does it? All right, so for this card, oh, we didn't stamp, for heaven's sakes. I can't believe nobody even said anything. Or maybe you did and I just haven't, and didn't look up at the right time. Oh, Susan Schoppacher. That's like almost a sin to have to buy a card. And yes, the prices are shocking. The prices are shocking when you purchase a card. So that's why I love making cards. Because then I can still afford to send out as many cards as I want to. All right, so let's finish off this card with an embellishment. And for this card, I've chosen the iridescent rhinestones. What I love about these is they pick up different colors in your cards. Okay. $15 for a card? Oh my gosh. I'm going to have a heart attack, please. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see what I want to do. I think put a large one here. And then I'm going to add 2 small iridescent rhinestones. And again, this could be a New Year's card. It could be for a graduation, congratulations of any kind, a retirement, a promotion. What else? Anniversaries, weddings, bridal showers, or just friendship. You know, cheers to friends, cheers to a girls' night out, whatever you want it to be. Okay, so here are our 3 cards that we made all made with the same fun fold, all with the same stamp set. Cheers to the season. I love a stamp set that's really versatile, one that I can use for several different occasions, and this is one of those. I knew as soon as I saw it that I would end up getting this because I like the versatility of it. So that's that. So who would like to, okay, the computer's going a little crazy with pop-ups here. Who would like to win one of these cards? If you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to receive one of these cards, please type in the comments now, cheers to the season. And if you type cheers to the season in the comments, your name automatically goes into the drawing. And perhaps you will be one of the winners of one of these 3 cards. Cheers to the season. Wow, so many of you are on today. Thank you so much for spending part of your Monday with me. I appreciate you. You know, does it have a name? Let me look here. I don't believe it does. I mean, I think at some point we run out of names for all the different fun folds that we and other people create. So no particular fun fold. You might call it Triangle Flaps card. But nothing specific, okay? Is anybody watching for the first time? Anybody watching for the first time? Donna was new to me too, and I like it very much as well. I'm sure it's one I'll be using over and over. Betsy, you're watching for the first time? Well, welcome. Oh, Julie, that's funny. You ordered it the weekend of my team meeting. Yes, because Susie, and I don't have the card in front of me, because Susie used the So Thankful stamp in her make and take for all of us. Cheryl, this is your first time. Oh, your first time you've seen the stamp set used. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you were here today. All right, everybody, again, thank you for being a part of my Stampin' Peace community. I do appreciate you. And I look forward to being back with you here on Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe at 2 p.m. on Thursday. And once again, I'll be using the Cheers to the Season stamp set, but in a completely different way. All right? So I look forward to seeing you then. Please share this page and ask your crafty friends to like the page, to join us next time. And you can even tag them. Comments. Have a good evening.